Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of DGS2 Case 5. So, we were in the midst of about to present a very decisive piece of evidence to bring an end to Vortex's reign of terror at this point. So there's a small chance we'll actually finish this in 2 videos. There's still about 50 pages left on the script, so it's very close. So we'll see how this is gonna end up happening towards the second video, because if we're already way deep into the ending, I might as well just try and go and finish it up. But we'll see. For now, let us go ahead and try and present Klimt's will that we found inside Karma, the hilt of Karma. There's only one piece of evidence now that can tell us the truth about what happened 10 years ago. And that's the will left by Lord Klimt van Zieks.
Ha! I know that. However, there's no way you're going to find that at this late hour.
I'm sure that's what you thought, but I have it right here. I just found it. Casually, I just found it.
Ridiculous! Impossible!
Everything is connected to this will. And that's the key that will lead us to the final truth. Where was my brother's will hiding? It was in here.
But that's Karuma.
The will has been sleeping inside of here for the past 10 years. It's been waiting for the right time to expose the truth.
This signature, the crest in this wax seal, it all certainly looks official.
It's true. This is my brother, Klimt van Zieks' handwriting. There's no mistaking it.
I completely forbid the revealing of the contents of that will.
That won't work. The answers we need are inside.
The information in that will could destroy this country's judicial system.
Destroy the system or destroy you?
Give it to me, right now!
Why are you trying to keep it hidden? Could it be you already know what's written in here?
What are you talking about? Court is adjourned. I'm calling for an immediate emergency adjournment.
Leg! If you do that, it will deal fatal damage to your position as head magistrate.
What?
After all, you're trying to cut short a trial without a legitimate reason. And a top-secret trial ordered by the Queen in the presence of the members of the judicial system at that. It would mean going against the Great British Empire itself.
So Lord Klimt van Zieks left a will.
It's all as that Japanese man said.
We need to have it revealed here and now.
We have a duty and a right to hear it.
Judging by the sound of things, Your Honor, this court has become unwilling to forgive your selfishness any longer.
Ridiculous.
Now, Naruhodō, read out the will. The prosecution has no objections whatsoever.
Yeah. Alright.
Stop. Stop!
I record this as I prepare to leave this world of my own will. The time is 11 p.m. in my office, and my friend Asogi stands behind me. He is overseeing this conclusion in accordance with the old-fashioned etiquette of dueling. The Japanese are compassionate. He has agreed to give me an honorable death. I, Klimt van Zieks,
hereby confess. It was I who committed the 4 murders under the name of the Professor. I haven't the time here to explain the decay I saw in England as an aristocrat. But, over the course of 6 months, I have been taking the lives of other members of the aristocracy at the center of that decay. They were demons. They used their position and power to twist the law, and they showed me the limits of our judicial system. In order to stand against those demons who would feed on this country's citizens for their own benefit, I could do naught but become a demon myself. I called it hunting. I had the fangs of my proud hound deal to them what I believed to be their rightful judgment. However, though I have long been a hunter, I was but a novice of a criminal. I was soon blackmailed by a man who had seen through my crime. He threatened to reveal my identity to my beloved wife and to my younger brother. Thus, I became a serial killer who took people's lives under his orders. But when the man I most respected, to whom I owed my very life, died at my feet, something inside of me broke. I had become the beast, giving horrific orders to a beloved, faithful dog. I can no longer turn back, whether it be I to die or Asogi. In the end, it matters not. To my blackmailer, Heart Vortex, may the curse of the Hound hunt thee evermore.
Lord Klimt van Zieks was indeed a murderer. However, there was something behind the scenes dictating his victims. It was you. The blackmailer, Lord Heart Vortex.
I believe you said earlier, Lord Vortex, that the information in the will could destroy this country's judicial system. However, there was only one secret here that you were desperately trying to protect. And that was your own identity, that you were willing to sacrifice the lives of others in order to hide.
I couldn't bring myself to believe it. The third victim was the chief magistrate at the time. He was my brother's benefactor and a man of virtue. My brother would have had no reason to kill him.
The one who did have a reason was you, Lord Vortex. In order to make yourself the chief magistrate, you erased the person in your way. Using your hunting hound, Lord Klimt van Zieks.
It was necessary. The darkness of London is deep, and the reach of the law wielded by the Yard is short. Criminals must be stamped out, but the Chief Magistrate at the time was too soft. A man of virtue. If you ask me, he was just a cowering weakling. That's why I became the Chief Magistrate, in order to fight them.
And your method was murder.
The Grim Reaper. The Professor. It doesn't matter what you call it. I'll say it as many times as I must. It was all for London's judicial system.
You think you can rationalize the murder of my dad with that comment?
Asogi Genshin, it was a shame what happened to him. I planned on letting him return to his homeland as promised.
Ridiculous! You killed Asogi Genshin with your own hands.
It was not me who took his life.
Huh?
On the fateful night of his execution, Jigoku and I waited until 3 a.m. and headed for Lowgate Cemetery.
Judge Jigoku!
I needed an accomplice on the Japanese side of things to be able to send Genshin home to Japan, and to deal with the part about him being a murderer. Jigoku was very ambitious, so I used that ambition of his. After the trial in which he broke the witness stand 10 years ago, I approached him. I promised that I could guarantee him a position as the Japanese Minister of Foreign Affairs upon his return home, and he jumped at it.
Jigoku Seishiro, how foolish.
After his supposed execution, Genshin would hide inside the casket to be carried out of the prison and buried. We would come and dig him up before the air in the casket ran out. However, when we tried to do so, something we couldn't have foreseen happened. The grave had already been dug up, and there was an unfamiliar young man standing over it. His eyes were fixed on the one person no one must ever see.
Enoch Drebber.
I heard he was a grave robber, but of all the graves he could have chosen. To think it would end up being that one. This is bad. If anyone finds out about that prisoner, it would be a major scandal that would shake the great British Empire to its core.
What do we do?
Shoot Genshin at once, Mr. Jigoku. Now that this has happened, we can't let him remain alive.
What are you saying? You promised him! You promised you'd let him go home to Japan!
The situation has changed. If the world finds out about this, both of us are finished. Do it! Shoot him, Jikoku! What are you waiting for? Shoot him! Jikoku shot Genshin from the shadows. His blood splattered on the young man. The young man fled. We proceed to bury Genshin's body one more time. The next day, the gravekeeper found out about the wax figure museum owner and notified us. His iron mask is not to be removed under any circumstances. You will not say a word to anyone about the detailed circumstances. And so, the secret remained buried in that grave. That is what happened that night at Lowgate Cemetery. The one who killed Genshin was Jikoku, that Japanese man. He claimed they were best friends, and yet, in the end, he pulled the trigger on that rifle.
Just before he left the courtroom, Jigoku Seshiro said this: that the assassin exchange was demanded by the person on the English side of things.
You threatened him, didn't you? Using that shooting incident.
Jigoku was involved as the Minister of Foreign Affairs in setting the conditions of the treaty with our country. If it had become known that he'd shot and killed a fellow countryman 10 years ago, he would have lost everything. I simply reminded him of that fact.
Oh my god.
I've been battling London's darkness these past 10 years. I fought using any means necessary to secure a victory for our judicial system.
That's not true. You never once fought your own battles.
How dare you! I protected Klimt van Zieks and saved him from a dishonorable death.
But behind the scenes, you were just disposing of everyone who stood in your way. And you pinned all the blame on my dad.
It was in order to protect Great Britain's law and order. I had no choice.
They're not the only ones you killed. You set up the defendant as the Grim Reaper, and took the lives of criminals as well.
Silence! They used any illegal means they had at their disposal in order to secure not guilty verdicts. That is why the Imperial City needed a Grim Reaper. That was how I fought.
You did nothing. The one who accepted the disgraceful name of the Grim Reaper while fighting fairly and justly in court was Lord Van Zieks.
That's just acknowledge that that Van Zieks fights fairly and justly in court about Baroque. Oh my god. And the one who believed in the right thing, but agonizingly dirtied his own hands with crime, was Detective Gregson. And the one who put his life on the line to seek the truth alone was Asogi Genshin. The only one hiding behind London's darkness was you!
Damn you! How dare you!
It was all to protect London, you say? What a load of crap. All you did was use the truth in order to make deals to benefit yourself.
Those who try to hide the truth aren't qualified to be a part of the judicial system. Don't ever talk about the judicial system again! You tell him!
My oh my, folks! That was quite a show you put on. Allow me to give you a round of applause.
What do you mean? This clapping!
Such serious faces and beautiful Queen's English accents. Honestly, these Far East Islander friends of ours are quite the hard workers.
Damn you. Don't screw with us.
But yes, exactly. It's just as you folks say.
What are you getting at?
So you say I'm hiding in London's darkness, doing nothing. Honestly, when you put it so bluntly like that, it makes me a little embarrassed, but I've done nothing. Which means there's no need to charge me with any crime, does it not?
What?
Precisely. You're quite right. I myself haven't done anything. Those fools just did everything on their own.
It doesn't work like that. You use those people's weaknesses.
Coercion, huh? Or maybe some kind of deal? There's something I'd like to say to all the members of the judicial system gathered here. This imperial city contains a darkness, and in order to face that darkness, we must become the shadows ourselves. I'd like all you sensible folks to think it over carefully once more. This terrifying series of facts. If this were to be made known to the 6 million citizens of London, what do you think would happen? The serial killer who slaughtered those aristocrats and royal family members was the head of the most prominent family in all of the Great British Empire. The evidence presented at his trial was forged, and there was a jailbreak deal behind the scenes. There's an assassination organization known as the Grim Reaper, and its central figure was a yard detective. And the one pulling the strings behind all of it was the Imperial City's Chief Magistrate!
If the citizens of the Great British Empire were to learn of those facts, Scotland Yard, as well as the prosecutor's office, of course, would lose all credibility.
The Imperial's law and order would crumble, and we'd return to the lawless era of the previous century.
It is said that 100 years ago, 1 in every 10 citizens was a criminal. It was from that we formed a police organization, established laws, and raised ourselves to this point. And in the future, in order to protect the public order, we will once again find that we need the darkness. We have already managed to uncover the true culprit responsible for Detective Gregson's death. The only detail necessary for this trial was that. Anything beyond that shall all be stricken from the record of today's trial in order to protect the public order of this Imperial City. It's also for the sake of our queen. Well, what say you folks?
He has a point.
What Lord Vortex has done cannot go unpunished. But
His duty is to protect the public order of London.
It's a fact that the number of crimes has decreased thanks to the threat of the Grim Reaper.
Lord Vortex was able to accomplish that by using any means available to him.
Vortex! 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 There.
This is the answer the Great British judicial system has chosen?
I need more wine.
I deeply appreciate your feedback. Now then, with your consent, all of this will be stricken from the record.
Now that we've reached this point, all I can say is I expected it. Lord Hard Vortex is a genius at manipulating other people's wills. Naruhodō-sama, this man's crimes have already been proven. And if he still intends to run from it, then what on earth are we supposed to do?
Naruhodo.
It looks like, this time, it really is down to the last moment. At this point, there's only one thing I should do. Shout objection, use evidence, wait and see. So, I believe I think they're supposed to use evidence, so I'm going to shout objection because that's the wrong choice. Let's go. Yes, obviously. The sound that was made to echo through the Supreme Courtroom is that one special word. Well, I tried shouting it out, but whatever's supposed to come next isn't coming to me.
As the head of the Supreme Court, allow me to give you some helpful advice. It's important to have something else to say after you've shouted objection.
I don't have a single objection to raise to that advice. Naruhodō-sama, if you put your shoes on the wrong feet, you need to take them off to put them on the right ones. Right. I'll show you just how well I can get them on my feet. Okay, there's actually another very long scene, so I will have to cut it here, which is fine. It's like 30 minutes in. That might mean we might have a third video coming in, so let's get back to that. Oh, okay. Okay, yes, obviously, the only thing that has the right to speak in court has always been evidence. Sorry, I thought I had to pick again. Okay, what is this? But, Naruhodō-sama, what do you mean, use evidence? I screwed up the epic scene, I'm very sorry. Also, this song! I have an idea. I don't know what'll happen when I try it, but I'm pretty sure the reason I have it is for a time like this. Deus Ex Machina time. This thing, which we will present in the next video and see what happens. I'm gonna like fade this out to this with this epic song playing because that's perfect. Will we get this done in 2 videos or in 1 more video or 2? Feeling like a 2 here because there's yes. We'll see. Let's do this.